Hey, what's up everyone? One Tech Traveler here. If you're looking to get started in your photography journey, then here are my 10 tips that you need to know to make sure that you can get firing on all cylinders. Number one is get to know your camera. The most important thing to remember is that a camera is just a tool within photography to help you get your shot. Yes, they definitely do help you with the kind of technology you get nowadays, but it always goes down to the principle of you as a photographer in control in what the purpose, the composition, the framing and creative of the photograph that you are looking to take. To help you achieve that, it's getting to know the settings, the placements of all your buttons on your camera. You want to know where your custom buttons are, how to access your shortcut functions to all the different elements like your white balance, your focus, your modes, the different settings on your dial. And essentially you want to work towards, if you can't see where your buttons are or your settings, then you know it in your mind of how to get to the settings you want to. If you're there, then that's a really good place. But as much as possible, get to know your camera, the strengths, the limitations, the ranges in your ISO, your shutter speeds, what works well, what doesn't, so that you know inside and out what settings you want to be on or how to set it up the way you like to use your camera. Number two, find your passion. Photography has a very broad range set of areas that you can get into, from wildlife, products, studio, portraits, travel, landscape. So you want to find an area that you're really passionate about and that you want to explore further. A lot of the curiosity tends to stem from you as a photographer taking interest in it. So if you love doing landscape or travel photography, then go out there and shoot travel photography. Number three, experiment. Photography, as much as you can learn about the theories, and it definitely helps, just simply bring your camera and taking as many shots as possible. It's great to experiment all the different settings so you have a better understanding and it's more applicable because you see it in real time and the effect it has on your pictures, and also developing your sense of style and taste towards the kind of photography that you want to take and be known for. If you have a set of lens, seeing how that impacts the depth of field, the lighting, different equipment if you have it, or just simply the basics of what you have in your camera, taking it in shots in the morning, in the afternoon and in the evening, then you can really see how you'd want to approach it the next time for the shots you want to take. Number four, keep it simple. There's lots of lenses out there, lots cheap, lots very expensive, and you want to just align it to, how serious you're going to take photography. If it's something as a relative hobbyist and you don't have much funds, then it doesn't make sense to invest in lots of lenses. If you want to shoot landscape, then definitely great to have an open wide lens from 16, 24mm, great for capturing that breadth of mountains, for example. So if you are just starting out, don't get bogged down too much into the lenses, but definitely if you want to get into a certain type of photography, then you can explore the range and see what is suited to your taste. Depending on the camera you do have, some have a wider catalogue of lenses and compatibility with adapters, so you can have an extensive range to choose from, and also that can be much cheaper. For example, I do use the Sony a7 III. The Sony native lenses tend to work the fastest and the best with the body, but they are also very expensive. So something to bear in mind if you are starting out, which ecosystem you want to play in. But otherwise, keep it simple. And for the majority of the time that you're using it, having a zoom lens that covers a wide range will give you that coverage between 80 and 90%. Depending of course on the kind of work, but you can happily have that one lens and get through the day using just that one. Number five, choosing your carry. Now this kind of tends to be overlooked or is a separate topic, but for me, when I was doing my 9-month Asia tour, then it was very important into the kind of backpack that one was going to last me for the whole 9 months. This is one that I had to trust, that allowed me to use my gear that I wanted it to, but also fit in everything else that I needed for the road. So you want to find a carry that is suited to the way you enjoy photography. For me, it was all about efficiency, being quick and having that versatility, and I chose the Peak Design Everyday Backpack, 30 liters, clothes, accessories, my drone, but also having that side access so that when I do see something, I can take it out, take the shot, put it back in very quickly and very easy. So have a look at the range of backpacks, holdalls, duffel bags, large travel backpacks, and understand the way of how you can use it to make the most of taking out your camera, storing your batteries, etc. because that plays an important part into making it easy for you, but also taking the shots when it matters most. So that was number 5. Number 6, learn to love the edit process. You'll get a lot of people that will say, you know, they just use the pictures as it comes out of the camera and it's great for them, and you can do that if you want to, but you can also turn a good photo into a great photo by simply learning some simple editing techniques through the software available. Of course, majority of the time you will hear Adobe Creative Suite for Photoshop, Lightroom, but there are alternatives if you didn't want to go subscription based. One is Affinity Photo, which is very robust. If you do that and start exploring the features, you actually find it to be very enjoyable, and you see the changes it makes to your pictures, refined polish to your pictures that turns it from a good photo to a stunning one. Patience. Certain types of photography require more patience than others. A good example of that is wildlife and travel. A lot of these are conditions that you cannot control, like the weather, the animal's behavior, and sometimes you have to wait for certain times of the day or simply just being there for hours to capture that right shot. I experienced that a lot of the time on my tour when I was coming up for sunrise and when I was waiting for sunset, or simply waiting for crowds to thin out so I can take a pure picture of the subject in focus. Number 8, the memory card. Memory card is again an important factor of a camera. There's no point investing in a great body and great lens if you haven't got the memory card to support the features that you want to use, like burst shooting. You want to get a memory card that gives you enough buffer of space. 32GB is a good starting point, but if you are looking to use something over a long period of time away, doing it for events, taking lots of shots, then 64GB, 128GB tend to be better. For me, 128GB is the sweet spot of having enough space for a long duration of time without needing to back it up on my hard drive. The next one is speed. I use the SanDisk Extreme, which is the gold one I believe, or you can use the Pro, which is the black version, and that just gives you much faster reading and writing speeds. So if you are capturing in say 4K using 10 burst frames per second, then you're not going to get a large buffer of your camera trying to catch up with it because the processing is taking a long time. So definitely investing in good cards improves the workflow. And then they're very affordable these days. 128GB SD card, you can probably get it for, you know, £30, and that's about $40. Doesn't have to be the fastest, but one that's enough for you. If you are not using burst shootings, then you can go for the one down, which is the silver version. I put all the links down below to everything I've talked about today so that you can see it for yourself. Number 9, get out there. Photography is very much a hands-on approach, so simply spend a day out, you know, with your camera, walking around, and start honing in on your interest, creativity. You'll learn a lot in the process. You also develop your confidence being around in certain environments. When you see the outputs that comes from your photography, then sometimes being in those spots that you normally wouldn't find yourself in can definitely pay off in the long run. And then finally, share your work. As much as photography is a personal thing, it's also great to be able to share that with any of your friends, your family, and the wider photography community. Professionally, there's loads of competitions that are run from the big camera brands, magazines, so submitting it there and just seeing how it goes, you might be surprised where it leads you to and give you that additional motivation. So there you have it. Those are my 10 tips to help you get started in your photography journey, giving you that broad end-to-end spectrum of the camera, the kind of carry that you want to bring with you along your journey, and then the output of sharing it with people and the processes. If you found any of that useful, feel free to leave me a big thumbs up, I always appreciate it, and you can stay tuned for more of my videos around travel, lifestyle and tech by clicking the subscribe button down below. If you want to read the rest of my stories, you can find it on my website at onetechtraveler.com. Otherwise, look forward to sharing more videos to help you travel smart, live smart. See you in the next one, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace.